I think it's safe to say, as guys, we often find women extremely confusing. They'll tell you one thing and then they'll do a different thing, or they'll expect something of you that they don't communicate clearly about. And I don't think it's ever smart to try to figure out exactly how women think or why they think the way that they think, because I don't know if we'll ever crack the code on that one. But I think it's safe to say that there are principles to being a human. There's principles to being a human. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to feel attractive. Everybody wants to feel accepted. Everybody wants to feel important. There's universal principles around wanting to feel a certain way. Why do people dress nicely? So that they feel good about themselves, so that other people notice them. Why do men do all sorts of things to improve their bodies or their finances? It's generally to find approval from other women or from other men, right? So there's all of these things that people are doing that pretty much universally, unless you're some weirdo, are not doing. And I have worked as a men's coach for a long time. And I had focused primarily a couple years ago on dating and the aspects of dating. And I kind of shifted away from that because I realized that fundamentally, you're not going to be able to talk to women or feel any kinds of confidence or pick up any women or do any kind of thing involving relationships unless you build the man first. Any real men's coach around relationships is going to tell you that. And I was having a lot of hang-ups around helping men dating women because at the time I wasn't dating a woman myself, and I was like, why am I talking about this? I mean, I've had experience, but like I'm not doing it now. So I shifted away into building the man and showing men how to do that. And so, but the problem that I was experiencing at that time was that I was living in a very small town in the middle of nowhere. And so every once in a while I would see a very attractive woman, but that was like so inconsistent. And over the past month or so, I've been in Europe. I am now currently in Amsterdam. It's a beautiful city if you guys have not had the chance to do this. And I have been on this amazing trip, and I just so happen to be friends with a former pickup artist. So it kind of helps to be learning from somebody that's been doing this for a long time. And I was always against this whole idea of trying to bang a woman on the first night, and I still am kind of against that. I don't think it's smart. I don't think it cultivates a really strong relationship. In fact, I know it doesn't cultivate a strong relationship. Yet there are some people that like to live by their urges, and that's just how they are. And so I can't blame them for being human. I can't blame them for having these kinds of impulses. So I was always hesitant around the pickup culture. I never liked it. I thought it was sleazy. I thought it was scummy. I thought they did all these tactics and these techniques to just try to get in a woman's pants. And in a lot of cases it is, because most men, they're just trying to go pick up women so that they can just get off and then move on to the next one. And anybody that's been doing that for a long time knows that that is not good for you on so many different levels, on physical and emotional and spiritual and astral levels. Oh my gosh, like the list goes on and on. Anybody that's a slave to any vice is ultimately going to result in some kind of spiritual or emotional death in some way, shape, or form. But, and this is a big but, there is a lot of wisdom to be gleaned from the whole pickup culture. And I realized, I said, you know what? This is an aspect and an element of life that I have resisted, that I've rejected, that I've not thought of as valuable. And I just decided to say, you know what? I'm just going to give it a whack. I don't plan on sleeping with a bunch of women. That's not my goal. My goal and my objective is to understand the social dynamics more so by meeting strangers, so that I can be more holistic in my way of life, so that I can learn the wisdom from those types of interactions and give it to other people so that they can be more helpful. And time and time again, I have seen a lot of these dating coaches, and they're always talking about the approach anxiety and the masculine frame and the shit testing and everything, and they got it all down to a science. And I thought it was so interesting that they had it down to a science. But I just decided to take it for a spin myself. Why not? Let's see how this turns out, and let's see the results that I get. And so I just started going up to women, just out of nowhere, just beautiful women, just incredibly beautiful women. And the results I got were amazing. I was just like, wow, this is incredible. And going back and reflecting on all the comments of the people that were struggling with picking up women is that men are so nervous, they're so shy, they're so worried about what to say or how to be, or being perceived as weak or anything. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you care about this woman's opinion about you? Like, she's just probably just on TikTok or just has just as much security as you do, man. And what I notice is that men, we have this tendency to aggrandize these experiences. Do you get nervous when you go order a cup of coffee? I mean, maybe you do, and if that's the case, then maybe there's some deeper issues around that. Or do you get nervous talking to your friends? Do you even get nervous asking for directions to other people if you're in a new place? Any one of these social interactions that you're gonna find is that at the end of the day, you're just having a conversation. It's like sales, it's like a numbers game. If somebody's not interested in your product, you move on to the next because you know that somebody else might be interested in what you're doing and what you're offering. And I saw I'm walking through Amsterdam, I saw hordes and hordes of gorgeous women, oh my goodness, just one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I thought to myself, how can anybody in their life live in a sense of scarcity around opportunities to meet incredible women? How is that even possible? Because they're ubiquitous, man. And in fact, like, if any woman is generally young and takes care of herself pretty much anywhere, they're gonna be relatively good looking. And it was so strange to me because I've never been scared of talking to women. I've never been, well, that's not true. I was actually quite nervous back in the day, but I've never really gotten in my head about a lot of those things. But really looking at everything for as it is, truly what's happening, there is an infinite amount of opportunity. And here's the secret. They want you to talk to them. They want you to come up to them. They want you to be a man. As long as you're relatively good looking, as long as you have some sense of style, as long as you have some sense of direction, as long as you have some sense of control over your sexual impulses, just even a little bit, you're gonna be vastly ahead of the majority of men on the planet. And women want to feel beautiful. They want to feel wanted. Do you want to feel attractive to beautiful women? Do you want a beautiful woman to come up to you and say, hey, you're really handsome, I'd love to take you out on a date? You're damn right you do. And guess what? They do too. They want the same thing. They want a stud like you who's got their shit together, who looks cool, who's smooth, to come up and tell them what's up. They want that. And they're gonna put up a fight, they're gonna be coy, they're not really gonna tell you outright, but at the end of the day, that's really what real women want. They want men to be men. They want men to be assertive. They want men to take charge. And I got so tired of not meeting good women in my life. And so I'm just, again, with everything, with every kind of thing that you get tired of, it's a narrative that you tell yourself in the story. I got tired of being depressed, so I changed the narrative in my head. I got tired of watching porn and getting addicted to it, so I changed the narrative in my head. I got tired of not living the life I wanted to live, so I changed the narrative in my head. It's the same thing with women. It's the same thing with talking to them. And so I changed the narrative in my head. I wanted more interactions with beautiful women, because what man doesn't like incredible, captivating, amazing, beautiful energy, feminine energy in their life? I think it's a safe bet that most men will think that that type of energy is extremely intoxicating and beautiful and exciting. And I just saw beautiful women, and I saw, when I was walking down the street, I just went right up to them and I said, hey, excuse me, do you speak English? great. I just wanted to let you know that I think you're super beautiful and I'm gonna be in town for a couple days and I'd love to take you out for coffee. What are you doing? I can't tell you how amazing the reactions were. Yeah, sure, some women were like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm busy, or hey, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. But some women were just like, yeah, that's great. In fact, when I was in Brussels, I walked up into a coffee shop and I went up to this one woman, her name was Sophie, she was beautiful, and I said, excuse me. I said the same thing, just like I said before. And I said, oh, well, it's a shame that I'm gonna be leaving soon because I was only planning on doing a one-day trip, or else I would have asked you out. And she said, well, I'm free now. Why don't we walk around? And man, let me tell you, we had an electrifying experience with talking and flirting and just the touching and just, it was so exciting and magnetizing through the date. And don't worry, there wasn't any like sex afterwards because I had to leave. But the thing is that people want these kinds of experiences. They live for the stories. They live for the adventures. They live for the, oh, I remember when I was at that and I met that cool guy and I had this exciting, amazing experience and wow, that really turned me on or whatever. Women and men want that. And why the hell can't you be the guy that has that type of experience? And who knows? That may turn into an incredible relationship. But as long as you assert yourself and you have the confidence, and sure, be flirty, but have control over your dick, dude. You know, I mean, be flirty, and if it leads to sex, fine, but like, just know that if you really actually want to make a serious relationship, having sex with a woman on the first night is probably not going to wind up being an amazing long-term relationship. It could, but that's generally not how it works. And I did this to so many women I met, and I'll actually show you the screenshots and the photographs of some of the women that I talked to, so you know that I'm not bullshitting. But the women, they told me, they said, wow, like, I love your approach. I love how direct you were. I love how confident you were. I'm totally open for that, because really beautiful, feminine women in their feminine essence are gonna want a strong, competent, masculine man to lead them. And feminism will have them believing that they don't need that or that they don't want that. But almost every single woman that I've talked to, bar none, deep down inside knows that if they had a strong, competent, capable man that could take care of them if they needed, that could make sure that they were safe if they needed, they would choose that over anything else any day. And if they haven't figured that out yet, they probably will in the future when they burn out. Now, I'm not saying that this is the same for every woman, but I've found the majority of women that I've really talked to, that I've really gotten intimate with in terms of like relationships or friends, that's what they all agree upon. And the funny part is that the more attractive the woman, I found, the more lonely they are. It's a very strange phenomenon, because I would see so many men walking by these beautiful women, like staring at them, slack jaw, like making it so obvious. And I'm thinking to myself, is that any way to make that woman impressed with you? Is that any way to make her want to be with you or to make her be turned on by you? There's no way. And it's so strange how men create this story in their heads about, oh, they need to be this, or they need to do that, or they need to say this, and they need to say that. And really, it's just about starting a conversation. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie that the fact that I've been on my purpose, doing my things, having fun, making money, staying in shape, doing my passion, and all of that is absolutely instrumental in the confidence that I had showing up to talking to these women. Because in that state of mind, I was thinking to myself, why would a woman not want to be with a man that's on his shit? Why would a woman not want to be with a man that has a vision and a direction and a purpose? You gotta have that first, dude. There's no way of getting around that. But when you do that, the process is quite simple. And I'm gonna keep practicing this, because there's so many different nuances. There's so many different avenues and angles to approach it. But you'll come to find that, in general, women want this from you. You just gotta practice it. And what's the worst that's gonna happen? They say no? Fine. They make fun of you? Whatever. I mean, I highly doubt that a woman is going to make fun of you for going up to her and saying, hey, I think you're super beautiful, I'd love to take you out. Like, what are they going to say? Oh, you're too short, or you're too, whatever. That's just a shit test. And to be honest with you, if a woman shit tests you like that, you probably don't want to be with her anyway, right? And so that's not the kind of relationship that you're going to want to be in. And I found that the majority of these beautiful women that I've talked to, not a single one of them has given me a shit test. Not a single one of them. Maybe it'll happen, and if it does, I'll navigate it. Fine, whatever, who knows? But I wanted to leave you guys with this. In life, in general, what you want wants you. What you want wants you. The relationships, the types of relationships that you want to have, not necessarily a specific woman that you want to have, but the types of relationships that you want to have, the types of experiences that you want to have, the types of memories that you want to create, all of these kinds of things. That's your divine birthright. And when you make the intention to have those experiences or to create those experiences, guess what? They're gonna show up. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it. And if you're still too afraid to go approach or to go do those things, just remember that you're just having a conversation. You're saying, hey, I think you're really attractive. What do you think? And the first time I did it, the woman had a boyfriend, but she was stunning. And the amount of ridiculous confidence that I felt after just doing it one time was enough. That's it. I was like, that's it? That's all I have to do is just go up to them and say the magic lines and ask for their number? That's it? And I was like, wow, that's like ordering a coffee at a coffee shop. It's so easy. And I'm telling you guys that what you want, the types of electric connection that you want to create or stimulate or foster, it's just one conversation away. Just like meeting the right people for businesses, just like meeting the right mentors, just like meeting the right women. You have to know that there's endless opportunities everywhere, and that opportunity wants you if you want it. And if you're still struggling with this, I get it, because I've been there before. And I've created these stories in my head that I couldn't be with women, but I just stopped. I stopped telling myself that. Oh my God, could you imagine living your whole life in fear to where you want so desperately to make a difference in the world, or you want so desperately to be with a beautiful, awesome woman, or you want so desperately to do something worthwhile in your life, but the narrative you tell yourself is so strong that it prevents you from doing anything you want in your life? I mean, how miserable would your life be? Oh my God. Thinking about it even just gives me a headache. So I am offering these spaces where gentlemen just like you can talk about their challenges, can talk about the challenges that they're going through with relationships, with work, with goals, with addictions, because at the end of the day, the only way to really get ahead is to learn from men that are doing what you want to do in your life. To learn from men that have gone through that challenge and have overcome it and have articulated exactly how to fix those problems. That's the only way that you're really, really gonna get ahead. There's the fast lane to getting what you want, or there's the slow lane to getting what you want. The slow lane is figuring it out through yourself, never learning from your mistakes, getting stuck in a rut and telling yourself the same story, and really actually never breaking through. Or the fast lane is learning from other people that have what you want, being teachable, taking their information and applying it in your life and getting what you want. Bro, you got like max 80 years of your life. And the last 20 years of your life are probably gonna be tired. And so you really don't have that much time. Like, I'm trying to put the fear of God in you right now. You have to step up. You gotta go get what you want, man. A real fucking man gets what he wants. He steps up, says, I'm a man, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna stop until I get it, and ain't nobody gonna stop me. Let me tell you, man, that is hot to women. A man that knows what he wants and gets it. That is smoking hot to women. Like, that is like smut to a woman's ears. if she sees you speaking like that or acting like that or being in the authority like that. So look, I want to invite you guys to this community of men. I just started doing it. It's a free, open community where people can meet and talk and share about their stories, because that's what creates the value. And then eventually, maybe one of us can go deeper to help you get actually really what you want. But the first step is to be having the conversation, to be open to the possibilities of you changing those specific situations in your life and then going deeper into the nitty-gritty about the situations in your life. So I made a presentation below on this group that I've created, but also a little video presentation as to the inner mechanisms and the mechanics as to how all of it works. And I hope to see you there, because you can watch a bunch of YouTube videos and get some value out of it, but you are never going to get true value unless you go directly to the core and the heart of your specific challenges and listen to people that have actually gone through it and have overcome it. Or you could keep just trying to figure it out by yourself. I don't recommend doing that whatsoever.